Okay, so in terms of flow, do you think there are certain things? Did you use music? Did you have like prayer times, or what are the hacks that got you into flow? You've mentioned visualization, you've mentioned a bit of mindfulness, and there. What are other sort of tips or hacks you can give to the audience or the listeners with regards to, getting into that flow state?
So I think this is kind of really important when you're thinking about like routines and you're creating like an in competition routine, like what you want to do in the competition. Yeah, like a lot of athletes, I like to use music because if I'm feeling low on my energy, I can pump myself up, or if I'm too like wound up, I can calm myself down, with what I'm listening to. I put very specific things on my playlist and stuff like that. But there's a difference between a routine and a ritual that I think is really, really important for people to recognize. Because when you create a routine, if something happens within that routine, you can be flexible. You can adjust to it. It's not a big deal. You just have a loose structure of how you want it to go, but it's not in concrete, where people get these rituals where they have to do the exact same thing, the exact same way, or it doesn't work out right, and really what happens there is you're wiring your brain that if you don't do this ritual exactly right, you have already taken yourself out mentally. And I did that as a gymnast. I learned at like 12 years old. I took myself out because I put my rubber band in my hair the wrong way. And I had a bad gymnastics meet. And then I put my hair the right way the next day and it was much better. Had nothing to do with a rubber band. A rubber band does not have anything to do with the way I do gymnastics. And it frustrated me to the point of where I started doing my hair all different ways so that I couldn't be bound to that ritual, that I had to learn that I was a good enough gymnast without how I was doing my hair. I knew logically it played no role in that, but for some reason mentally I was thinking it did. And so I kind of forced myself out of that. And that's something I still fall back into sometimes. And I have to like go out of my way to show myself sometimes that it's not about this ritual I'm doing. It's who I am. It's what I've been doing. It's how I've been training. And so I think having a routine, like I love listening to music, but in the middle of my Sydney Olympic finals, my battery, this was back before we could charge in our iPhones to the wall. This was with a Discman that required two AA batteries.
Yeah.
My batteries died in the middle of that final and I didn't have music.
Wow.
So I had to be able to roll with the punches. And I think the only reason that I held it together was because I was so mentally prepared for any kind of crazy thing. I'd never imagined my batteries dying on my Discman in the middle of the finals, but I had imagined weird things happening, the meet getting halted for technical reasons, somebody doing something weird, coming out of the stands. Like I'd imagined weird things. So when that happened, I did have a moment of panic, but I was able to calm myself down and
Yeah.
realize that I knew what I was doing in this dive. I almost gave myself this like really incredible pep talk. So I was more confident going into that dive than I probably would have been if I'd just been listening to my music.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
having a routine, but making it so it's not this ritual that you can mess up and then that takes your brain out of the competition. Just good structure that can be flexible is really important.